So welcome to K Electronics, Marine System Engineers.
One of the most important things that we need to work on when we are doing what we're doing here at Exploring with a Mission is we need to make sure that our sonar systems are dialed in. So right now I'm at K to get the sonar system down live inside working better. I've been having issues with the transducer for the last couple months, and I don't want to miss a car. I don't want to miss a missing person that we're looking for. So at this point, I needed to service the unit before I left for Boston, drop it off, and really focus on the investigation piece of this so that while this sonar system's getting fixed, I can be still moving cases forward and make sure that I'm dialed in for when we leave on June 22nd for our main trip for our 42-day adventure with Dan Down Under, going from here to Canada and then down to Florida.
Headed to Boston, and I'm meeting with the State Police Marine Unit and the State Police Sergeant for the Dive Unit with regard to Dorothy Goroshko's case in Boston. We are looking at it from the standpoint of where are the next locations to search for that vehicle, that Ford Maverick, that 1970 gold Ford Maverick. Did he or somebody bring that Maverick to the Quincy Quarry? And drop that Maverick into there off the cliff? Or did they put the vehicle in the Charles River somewhere close to the Medfield State Hospital? Or the MCO at Norfolk Correctional Institute.
Jack Boulton was incarcerated here at the MCO building of the Norfolk Prison system. He was on work release down the street at the Medfield State Hospital, which is only a few miles away. But how did John get here on that day? Did he drive the Gold Maverick? Did he drive his mother's car here? How did he get there back in 1975 on June 4th? On June 4th, he left Dorothy's Monastery Road property with or without Dorothy at that time in a vehicle or on foot. So if in fact he did something with the vehicle, how did he get back to Norfolk, and what day did he arrive at the Norfolk prison? Which day did he check in? Is there a check-in log for his returning to the institution? We'd love to find that out. I think it's a very important key piece of this whole thing, because the children were not able to put in a missing person report for 3 days, 72 hours back in 1975 for their mother. The oldest child went to the police station on day one and said, my mother did not make it home. But they were not able to file that report. So John Boulton had multiple days, 72 hours to 100 hours, before the police ran into him or went to see him to ask him questions. And that's when he came up with the story that he was being chased through the streets of Boston, and that he actually had to jump over the fence at the Harvard Arboretum, or the Arnold Arboretum, in order to avoid her hitting him with the car, and that she then disappeared after that. He never saw her again. How did he get back to the prison? Or did he bring the car back here to this shop back in the day and either dump the car in the ponds behind, or the pond behind the Norfolk prison? Or did he have the car chopped up at this location? Because back in 1975, according to the current owners, this location was not the organization of today, meaning that the individuals that own this garage here at 38 Main Street, at the Norfolk garage, were doing business with a little bit different clientele. So did John bring this car back here to be chopped up, to be crushed? Or did he put it in the water somewhere in Boston, here in Medfield? Where did he put it?
This is the deal. I mean, we're looking for a needle in a haystack. We've found cars in the Jamaica Plain and in Jamaica Pond. We've found cars in the Charles River. Nothing that is a gold Maverick in style or a gold Maverick in color. So at this point in time, we're still searching for that Maverick between Monastery Road, Roslindale, and south towards Norfolk. And the reason is because that was a travel pattern that Mr. Boulton was on that week and that month, because he was incarcerated for armed robbery and had been in and out of jail for either armed robbery, assault, or murder during those past 9 years. 9 years before she went missing, Dorothy's boyfriend, John Boulton, had murdered a 2-year-old girl in Marshfield, Massachusetts. So is it plausible that John Boulton had something to do with the disappearance of Dorothy and the disappearance of that vehicle that fateful night that she went missing on June 4th of 1975?
Dorothy's sons want to bring Dorothy home. We are looking for the public's help to do this. We're searching for Dorothy all over in every body of water, searching for that gold Maverick with that black top.
Come up with a game plan of which locations we need to search and target specific locations that we think need to be sonared and get permission to do so, because some of them are reservoirs, some of them have no access for boats with motors. I'm going to have to grab a electric motor as well, just in case they don't allow me to do a gas motor. But this is the story of Dorothy Goroshko in its making, and we keep searching for her. We're going to keep on working on it. It's a priority to bring, Dorothy home after 50 plus years. She's been gone for 50 years in 50 years in June. So that being said, it's a priority of mine. It's a local story, and the three brothers are now in their 60s and 70s, and they deserve to have answers. So as you see, it's like the catch-all of catch-alls of all the trash and debris and shoes and all kinds of stuff. This is where everything kind of comes to at the end. And Dorothy Goroshko went missing right here in Boston. She was parked somewhere here, so this is why we came here first with Adventures with Purpose back a year and a half ago or 2 years ago. And right under that boat right there, which is typically sitting right here on a dock, right out there's a car right there, and then there's a car on that side, which is kind of like a Lincoln Town Car or a Cadillac over there on that wall on the side of the park. Those are the two cars we found in this section. So it's kind of interesting. But yeah, Boston Gardens right through under the tunnel there. It's a really cool spot, but also we don't know if she even came back here, meaning we don't know if she actually went and made it back to the house from the penalty box. What we're told by the kids is that she made it back to the house, and that they were arguing in the front, and that they didn't come inside, but the kids heard them arguing, and a fight ensued, verbal altercation, and then mom never came into the house. And then the story of the Arboretum came into play, that she was chasing him with the car for a 7-mile walk, which we don't believe. So that being said, from Boston, Massachusetts, under the Washington Bridge at the state police barracks here, I'm meeting with the state police today to talk about the case of Dorothy Goroshko and Jennifer Fay, and to see if we can shed some light on where we should be searching, and to clarify some, very specific locations that we need to clear in order to maybe find some answers for the family. Morning, I'm down again back in Hyde Park looking at the Neponset River, and train trestles, train tracks. It looks like there was a cable line across here, and this guardrail wasn't here back in '75. It looks like a newer guardrail. Looks like there was a fence that went across at one point, but there's a hole in the fence. The depth looks like it has the depth to actually hide a vehicle in here as well, so we're gonna have to do the Neponset River here. Train tracks are there. Don't know what that looked like in 75 up there, but looks like you can gain access to this park. And there's also a playground at the next one up. But there's access all in the Neponset River. There's a boat ramp over there at that corner. Right, I'll show you. There is a boat ramp. So back in the day, could you put a car in here? Very possible. We are 13 minutes from Robert Street, which is the home of John Boulton and his mother. So. Yes, you could bring a car down into this section and hide it and dump it. And again, the Neponset River and the Charles River are the two locations that are closest to his house. If he drove to the house after leaving Monastery Road, he drove here, and then he drove down to the Neponset River in Hyde Park. This is close to there. So we're gonna look at the Charles River, we're gonna look at the Neponset River. I have a feeling we're gonna find cars in these two bodies of water because of the depths and because it's a city atmosphere and environment. And the reality is people are dumping cars for stolen vehicles. They're, possibly dumping other things in here. So let's see what we find. End of a dead-end road in Hyde Park. Under a bridge, under the railroad tracks. Back in the day, there was access through here. The definite depth right there. So, and I see something on the bottom right there. I don't know if it's trash floating or what it is, but again, definite possibility of there being a vehicle here as well. Again, Doyle Park, Railroad Bridge, Hyde Park, Massachusetts, searching for Dorothy Garashko. Again, Hyde Park Doyle Playground. I don't think there's access over there. Back in the day, looks like it's been stuck, been closed up with the fence line. I don't think you can get things in here, but a lot of debris in this river, so it's definitely increased in its heights. You can see the debris right there. Let's see. Debris in the river. But dam right here, dropping off into the river bed down below. Again, possible depth in here for it. It looks like the trees are across though, unless they're tight. But can't get vehicles down that. The Maverick is a two-wheel drive vehicle. I don't see you getting in there with that. But again, we're gonna have to sonar this section from here all the way back around the corner on the Neponset just to make sure. And I want to see if we can find some cars in here. I think this is a very likely spot for cars to be dumped. So.
Did Dorothy not make it back from the Arboretum that night? Did she actually even go to the Arboretum from Monastery Road? Did John Boulton take her all the way to 68 Robert Street? And then something happened. We're not really sure. What we have found is that most people go missing within a mile of their house. So is Dorothy in the Chestnut Hill Reservoir or the Brookline Reservoir? Or is she close to Ward's Pond, which is on the edge of Jamaica Plain and Jamaica Pond? There are all kinds of different bodies of water within a couple miles of the house that she could have gone into if in fact the story that John gives is correct, but we don't believe it. Back in 1975, one of the biggest locations that was for dumping vehicles and where there was a tremendous number of deaths due to drowning was the granite quarries at Quincy, Massachusetts. They're filled with cars. They're right next to the golf course at the Granite Links, and this location was actually buried in by the Big Dig. All the debris from the Big Dig from underneath the Boston Harbor was actually brought to the Quincy quarries and filled the holes, covering up a lot of the cars that are in there. There is a possibility that this vehicle was dumped there because this is within a 5-mile radius of Roslindale as well. 9 years before Dorothy went missing in 1975, John Boulton had murdered a 2-year-old girl who was actually in his care. It was his stepdaughter from his marriage. John Boulton went to court for this and was in the end incarcerated for it. But because of a lot of different evidence with regard to the wife at the time also burying the body of the 2-year-old, he was given a much lighter sentence. But John spent a lot of time in jail over those 9 years, and then when Dorothy went missing, he was the prime suspect and still is the prime suspect today with regard to her disappearance. John lives in Florida and is still alive today at 84 years old. John knows something. Someone knows something. He was the last person to see her alive.
So, John, if you know where that vehicle is, give the family some answers and let us bring her home. Every day's a gift. Use it wisely.